Welcome to the Ground Podcast Season 2. It has been a long hiatus, and I apologize to any of you who've been waiting with bated breath for new content. I have been going through some personal development and some professional endeavors that have pulled my focus away from this podcast, yet I feel drawn back to this movement, to the purity of the idea that drives Ground. So this is just an announcement to let you know that I'm back, that there are going to be a lot more episodes being recorded here soon, and I'm going to make some other announcements for you too, okay? So first of all, you might have also noticed that the author of this show is now Jacob. I did an experiment, guys, with my name, all right? Some of you that know me well out there are laughing your asses off right now, and that's okay. I'm an artist, and I'm a little flaky at times, and I thought I was going to try something new in terms of my professional presence, just to separate myself from a certain other artist. And I'm still kind of doing that, but, trying on the name William, my first name, my legal first name, really just didn't work in a lot of relationships. Made for some unnecessary tension. Tension's too strong a word, just for some unnecessary clunkiness and awkwardness in interactions. So Jacob is what I'm going to be going by now. Just really only that name as a moniker, to kind of return back to authenticity, to reclaim sort of the action of that name, and to just become familial with all of you. You guys, I want to be close to you, and I want to know you better. I want to get to know this community, and it just doesn't make sense for me to be going by a different name than the one that my closest friends and family call me. So for those of you who called it, I owe you some money or something, maybe some of Ben's best beer. That's announcement number 1. So yeah, you're welcome. Announcement number 2 is, in terms of my branding and marketing efforts, I am returning to that creative direction, to the core of what it is that I really want to do, which is to enable and facilitate the creative process. So the branding side will stay well intact. I'm still going to be taking on clients for that, but the marketing side is just something that, though I do possess the skill set and though I can make meaningful results for people, I just am not getting the kind of life from that, the kind of energy from that I need to sustain it. So all of that to say, the Ground Podcast here, this is what's returning energy to me. The fact that you guys were still downloading and listening, even during, 5 or 6 months that I spent off from this to focus on my other endeavors, that means a lot. And your listenership, your downloads are very important to me, and I'm very glad to have earned a place in your feed there. So the movement side of this is where I really see crazy potential. I see the opportunity for people to gather regardless of creed and religion, and to create open spaces and to elevate practice above belief, to dethrone belief as a structure that dictates behaviors that are exclusionary. So to that end, I want to pick up my efforts on the Ground Podcast in a renewed way, and I've done that by moving over to Substack. If you've ever been on Substack, or if you've browsed through the authors and publishers on that platform, I find it amazing because we get to escape these ads and these algorithmic potholes that are put in our way on other social media platforms. And we get to support personal brands directly by supporting their writing, their podcast episodes, their videos, their music. And it's just a really thriving and beautiful community in that way. So in terms of the creative process and where that feels most life-giving to me, that is where Ground is going to be living from now on. So if you want to jump over there, the link is easy to follow. It's just groundpodcast.substack.com. That's it, groundpodcast.substack.com. Just give that a visit and subscribe. You don't have to pay to subscribe. You can if you want to. There will be paid content in the form of exclusive video interviews when those are recorded that you'll only get to see as a paid subscriber. There will be invites to events that will only be available for paid subscribers. And for founding members, we're going to set up sort of some unique opportunities for some one-on-one time in the form of coaching and consulting sessions, or in the form of just helping people walk through who they are after a deconstruction in a new universal space. All that said, these are the ways I feel I can best support the movement that I want to see in the world, and that I know many of you do, probably most of you, if not all of you, of just seeing people begin to connect again across political aisles, across religious aisles, across all of the divisions that have been heaved upon us by our society, right? This is another little plug for Substack. I feel like so many of the social media platforms out there have been taken captive by this very intentional division that is being projected onto the most basic dividing lines of identity that we have, whether it's our gender or our sexuality or our religion. All of those things begin to have identity baked into them and get attached to politics, especially in America. And we've seen the damaging effects of that. And I don't wish for this to be a place where we, get down deep into the weeds of politics, just like I didn't want it to be a place where we get down into the weeds of theology and doctrine, but more a place where we realize the need to de-elevate that stuff, to dethrone it, so that we can come back together and remember what it means to be human, to look each other in the eyes, to eat food together, to sing and to dance and to hang out, and to just be alive together. So many of these issues, as complex and important as many of them are, still are just taking up far too much of our bandwidth together as human beings. So that's what we seek to do as a movement, is to kind of return to just being present and being human, and to give people the tools that they need to dethrone belief and to elevate practice at least to a place on equal footing with it, if not even more important than it. So that is the mini update for you, the mini episode in a nutshell. Thank you guys again for listening. I promise there's going to be more content coming soon. I plan to have another interview with Natalie Collier, my wife, and we're going to talk about the things that she's working on right now, the things that have developed in our life, and the things that we're going to be pursuing very soon. All right. In keeping with the tradition of the Ground Podcast, I am going to close with a quick guided meditation, okay? As with most meditative practices, we're going to take a minute to just focus on our breathing. It's fascinating how focusing on our breathing just pulls out our focus on thoughts. And it has this crazy power to bring us into our body and to bring us into the present. So if you can pause this podcast, or you can come back to it in a little while. Or if you're in a private space already, just feel free to go ahead and close your eyes and just focus on your breath. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Not so deep that it's labored, but deep enough that it's nourishing. In through the nose and out through the mouth. You're not focusing on anything at all except your breath. You're not allowing yourself to be taken by a thought. Thoughts will occur, but you'll notice that you're now able to watch them from the outside, to kind of let them pass and not to be possessed by them when they occur. Just continue breathing for a moment, in through your nose and out through your mouth. All right, the purpose of this meditation is just going to be to remind you that at your core, nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. You have difficulties and you have suffering in your life, and we have lots of tools to deal with those. We have realizations that have come to us from the world's great religions and wisdom traditions. As you think on your problems and your suffering from the outside, reflect on who it is experiencing the problems. Is it you as a mother or a father or a son or a daughter or a sister or a brother or an employee? Is it you as one of the roles that you're playing in life? Is it that role that's having a difficulty? And it's likely that it is. So let's take a minute to acknowledge the difficulty that one of our roles is experiencing right now. Maybe a few at once are experiencing these difficulties. Let's take a moment to just acknowledge that that's happening as we breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just keep breathing and just be present with the fact that that exists. Okay. Now that we've looked at the roles that we play in life, who is it that's been observing what those roles are and what problems those roles have experienced? Who is behind the thoughts that you're experiencing right now? I'm inviting you to take a moment to relax into the mystery of who that is as you just continue breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. As we relax into the mystery of who it is that's experiencing these thoughts, it should give you some comfort to know that those roles, while you have to play them as a human being, are not you at your core. That the challenges that those roles are experiencing will come and they will go, just like waves through the ocean. Those problems don't need to seize hold of you at your deepest level. You will always have this place right here to return to remember who you are, to remember that you are utterly safe and invincible in your secret place inside yourself. Let's return to the breath in the peace of knowing that we will always have this place. As we breathe in through our nose and out through the mouth. The soul is who you really are. That's who is behind the thoughts. And the soul is indiscernible from God, from the rest of nature, from one another, and that is ultimately what you are. There is nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. You have roles, and you have ways that you can change your approach in those roles to the things going on in your life. You can experiment. You can see what works. You can see what doesn't work. But it's ultimately you, the soul, that's in control. If you go broke, if you lose your job, if somebody close to you passes away, You will experience grief in this human form from that. But all of it comes and goes like waves in the ocean, and you will still be here. There is nothing wrong with you. Continue breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Friends, I've been through my share of pain as we close here. I've been through my share of difficulty, and I know the suffering that can be caused by that. I just want to let you know that there are methods, there are practices that can help us to defang the wolves of suffering that prowl in our life. It's always going to be about coming back to this place where we are right now. You will always have that ability. You will always have that shortcut available right here, as available as water, as breath to you. So, beloved, thank you for listening to another episode of the Ground Podcast. I am Jacob, and I am so glad to have you on board. Please don't forget to stop by my Substack at groundpodcast.substack.com. Consider a paid subscription to get access to exclusive content, but definitely there will always be plenty of free content available, including this podcast, and plenty of written content as well. Thank you so much for your continued support, and I will see you soon on the next episode. Grace and peace.